What's up guys, Aroneous here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and in this video I'm going to be going over my Stage 16 and Stage 17 Sand Devils Necropolis team. Let's get into it. Alright, so in regards to Sand Devils Stage 16 and 17 and just progressing in Sand Devils in general, it's extremely difficult content to complete. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to Hell Hades Optimizer or website optimizer or whatever. His homepage basically showcases the Sand Devils Necropolis stages and the stats that you need to be able to beat the stages. It's very difficult because as you progress further and further in Sand Devils Necropolis, you need more accuracy, more resistance, more speed, more HP, and more defense. And just in general, this is end game content. So Sand Devils Necropolis is end game, so it's gonna be very difficult for most of you out there to even be able to complete this. I mean, I've been playing this game for over 3.5 years on my free-to-play account, and it's hard. It's really challenging. You need specific champions for Sand Devils Necropolis, and that's why all you ever see is two-man teams. You can do it with two-man. Yeah, you could do it with Ninja, and you can do it with what's her name, the Void Epic. I wish I had her. I don't have her though. I'm pretty sure it's Sacred Order, but you need the Void Epic, Godseeker, and Eerie. I don't have Godseeker and Eerie, okay? But you see all these videos about, yeah, stage 24, stage 25, stage 23, but you don't see stages 16 to 23, right? It's a little bit strange. And I have a idea as to why. It's because it's probably really difficult to speed tune and get the perfect teams. And plus, a lot of players out there just don't have the specific champions to speed tune or the resources just in general because it's endgame content. So Plarium thinks that every single player out there, or I don't know, maybe they think this, every single player has the right champions to even compete or play this PvE content, and they're just so wrong. They don't understand, right? It's going to take you at least a year or more to complete these stages, or you just need to be super lucky, have crazy gear, and then you're good to go, right? But most people don't have that. Plus, the other thing is, when it first came out, all the content creators or people in general, all the player base that had Nogdar, which I didn't have, unfortunately, unlucky for me. Pretty sure Nogdar's an orc. Nogdar had the capability to reduce the champion's HP, right? So basically Nogdar was used to get the boss's HP down to like 1% or something like that. And then he would hit the boss and kill him instantly. Every single solitary level. So when you're watching these videos of people that are like, yeah, I got all the way to stage 25, or I got to stage 24 or 23. If you look at the stages prior to that, a lot of them are 0 seconds or like 10 seconds or 20 seconds or 30 seconds long, because more than likely because of the Nogdar the Headhunter, or they just have crazy champions. That's it. So you need to have specific champions, unfortunately, to face Sand Devils Necropolis. So let me go ahead and showcase to you right behind me here, move myself out of the way. This is Hell Hades' website here. Shout out to Hell Hades. He also has this amazing website too, which is super helpful for anybody out there. Let me just zoom in a bit. So right here, I'm on the Shadow Legends Stages tool. So if you go to his website and you go to the Raid Shadow Legends Stages tool, right here under tools, then you can go and choose the dungeon. You can choose the encounter, so which dungeon boss you're going to be facing, and then which stage you want to actually be fighting on. So this can kind of help you to figure out what speeds, what stats you need on your champions to be able to beat those stages. So for stage 16 of normal dungeons, right, Alname the Sand Devil, he's level 260, he's got a ton of defense, ton of HP, and a lot of speed, 225 speed just at stage 16. And based on this, he has 320 resistance, which means you need at least 344 accuracy minimum. However, his abilities, he has 330 accuracy, and on his A1, he puts a decreased accuracy and a decreased speed on your allies. So you have to keep that in mind. If you have a decreased accuracy on your Muck Stalker, you're not going to put him to sleep. If you have a decreased accuracy on any other champion that does sleep, unless it's unresistible, like from a Sifi, you're not going to put him to sleep. And putting him to sleep is extremely important because he hits hard. And he also reduces your maximum HP with the decreased max HP abilities. So his accuracy is 330, which means if you wanted to go the high resistance route, you would need 435 resistance on your champions to be able to resist Alname's A1, which is decreased accuracy and decreased speed. A lot of you out there just don't have the gear to be able to hit the thresholds and the speeds and the defense and the HP. So that's why this is just very hard content. And I feel like a lot of content creators just don't want to post on it for fear that people are just going to be like, I don't have those champions. I don't have the gear. This is crazy. This is wild. And honestly, I've been thinking the same thing. Like, why would I post on endgame content that people just can't beat? Because Plarium made it so you need to have specific champions, right? Why would we showcase that to you? It just doesn't make sense. It's very difficult content. It's not easy. It's annoying, honestly. It's super annoying. So once I get to stage 24, I'm probably only going to be farming stage 7, 5, and mainly, actually, I'll just be farming 24, but I don't know how I'm going to be able to create teams to beat all these other stages, right? It's going to be so challenging for me because I don't have certain champions and I don't have the resources. This is a free-to-play account. So kind of looking here, I'm at 17. I'm going to beat 18. I haven't even tried it yet, but I just don't think with my gear or just with my resources in general, I'm going to be able to switch around gear constantly on my champions. And it's just difficult. Like, I could do it if I could continuously re-gear champions, but it cost about 1 million silver just to re-gear one champion. And that's why it's challenging, you know? So say, for example, I went to filter and I wanted to just put random gear on, like, and it's going to be 6-star. So we're going to go to the fitting room here. Just show an example to you here. Like, this is me with, like, and obviously I'm not going to put this type of gear on him, but I'm just showing you how much silver it would cost to just slap on 6-star gear or remove 6-star gear from a champion. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So let me go ahead and just throw on random gear, put on a chest plate 6-star, try it on. That's 600,000 right there. 600,000 silver just to remove his gear and place the new gear. And the gear's not even leveled up yet. So with this content that's end game, you need to have maximize your gear. You can't just go in with like level 12, level 8 gear and expect to win. Unless you have some type of crazy speed tunes and you're like a super big brain player, that's different. But you're not just going to go in there and just, oh, I'm just going to wipe this out. It's going to be easy. It should be easy. I have the best champions in the game. That's not how it works. You have to actually think and strategize on this boss. So it's going to be a lot more challenging for people. Now, times that 600,000 times 5, you're already looking at 3 million silver. And that's not even including the accessories on the bottom. The accessories on the bottom are expensive too to change out. So for example, if I wanted to filter fitting room and put this on there too and try it on, 100,000. So you're looking at 600,000 plus 100,000 for each 6-star accessory. So that's 900,000, close to 1 million silver per champion that you're re-gearing. Okay, so it depends. If you have 5-star gear, it's a little bit cheaper, but it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you're spending all this silver to try to re-gear your champions for Sand Devils or any other area of the game. Sand Devils and the new one, Phantom Shogun's Grove, being the probably hardest PvE content in the game, in my opinion. Yeah, definitely the hardest. I think Phantom Shogun's Grove is easier, but you have to have the awakening levels for it to become easy. Whereas Sand Devil's Necropolis, it's just like you have to have the gear, you have to have specific champs, or you have to have like yeah, it's gear and specific champs. So that's why I personally think that Sand Devils is a little bit harder. I haven't personally tested Shogun's Grove yet, but I do have a few champions that are already at like 3-star awakening, 4-star awakening, like my Cold Hearts, for example, which are really good against Shogun's Grove. But again, I haven't even tried this yet because there's no point to even going and pushing for this unless you're super end game. Maybe you're like you're pay to win player, you're trying to push platinum and you've already upgraded all your gear, your artifacts with Sand Devil's Necropolis, and now you're focusing on your accessories. So I just wouldn't really focus on this unless you have completely annihilated Sand Devil's Necropolis, upgraded all your artifacts to the maximum level, then start focusing on this. Unless this is easier for you to obtain, then potentially you could do this, upgrade other accessories, and then go back to Sand Devil's Necropolis to try to get to the higher stages, which is kind of backwards to me, right? But I guess some people might see it that way. This is my team, and you might not have these champions. Again, you might not have Duchess. So Duchess is obviously going to be challenging to acquire. Obviously, you probably don't have her. So if that's the case, you're just going to click off the video now and you're not going to watch this. But it's also not 100%. So that's another big issue. It's also not speed tuned. My free-to-play account, I don't have the resources to keep re-gearing to get the perfect speed tunes. And why would I do that just for 16 and 17? You want to just get past all these stages as fast as you can, get to stage 24, 25, or 23, and farm up here. Farm these stages, or farm even 20. Even if I were to get to 20 and have a consistent team, that's still helpful, but because they recently improved the amount of drop rates or the amount of potions you can get from here. So personally, I would try to go for the top 5 stages once you get here. But if you can get to 24, 25, these are the ones you want to farm to get the most oils possible. Again, because this is not a 100% success rate team, I may lose. Now, here's my team set up personally. It's probably like maybe 60%, but my biggest concern is Muckstalker getting decreased accuracy. So Mother Sibel, 66,000 HP, 3,800 defense, 269 speed. Honestly, you want her to be like 300 plus speed, so that's why it's not going to be consistent. The reason why I want her at 600 or 300 plus speed is because of the fact that you need her to do the Soul Shepherd ability as often as possible, because once he hits you and you get to a certain point where your max HP has been decreased enough, he's just going to keep killing you at some point. Or he's going to use a really heavy hitting ability and just wipe everybody out. Okay, so you need to try to get her to 300 plus speed to be more consistent with your wins, especially for stages 20 plus. She needs to be at 300 plus speed. Muckstalker is there because I need him to be able to sleep the boss. Muckstalker's at 259 speed. If I can get him faster, great, but again, this is not speed tuned. I just made him as fast as possible so he can sleep the boss from the get-go, and then Geomancer places his Quicksand Grasp. So Muckstalker has only 2,100 defense. I want his defense to be more like 3,000 or 3,200 if possible. You need to get at least, like I said, if we go back to here, we need at least 345 accuracy on stage 16. On stage 17, we need at least 365 accuracy. But I'm building my Muckstalker so that he's good against the higher stages. Because once I get to, if I showcase this again, once I get to stage 24, right, I need 500 plus accuracy. Okay, you need close to 700 resistance to resist, and that's like almost impossible for most average players to late game players. I can't hit 700 resistance. I could probably do it on maybe one champion, and that's it. So going the resistance route is not even worth it. Just go for high HP, high speeds, high accuracy on specific champions. You don't need every single champion to be in high accuracy. Now, if you have Mother Sibel just in 6-star blessing with Brimstone, she could probably take out the boss just on her own all the way up to the highest stages. And because she's that powerful because of the Soul Shepherd, but she would need to be high speeds, right? But I don't have that. I don't have any blessing on this Mother Sibel. This is my second Mother Sibel. I use my other Mother Sibel in Iron Twins, so I'm kind of making it so that I have 2 different ones for different dungeons. It's a tough, it's a really tough stage. So you got to be very, very careful. Again, this is my Mother Sibel number 2. Muckstalker, again, we already showed that. Pythion, why he's so good. He's placing the shed skin ability a lot. I start off with this one because I don't want him to place the shed skin right away, because all of my champions are faster than the boss other than Geomancer. So shed skin's going to be there to make sure that Muckstalker doesn't get decreased accuracy. Geomancer, so again, Pythion, 73,000 HP, 3,600 defense, 244 speed, 451 resistance. Now he's mainly built for arena. He's in a stone skin. So like I said, I have these champions built out in other areas of the game, so it's kind of hard to make them specialized to one area. If I could do that, I would. That's more beneficial for you. Geomancer, I do have 2 Geomancers. This is the only one I have built out. The second Geomancer is only rank 4, level 40 for me, so I want to rebuild the second Geomancer at some point and make him specifically designed for Sand Devil's Necropolis. Now, this one's 215 speed. He used to actually be in my Clan Boss team and my Iron Twins team. So not only did I need specific speed at 215 for the Clan Boss team, but I also needed the accuracy for Iron Twins for him to land the Quicksand Grasp. So he's being used right now in Iron Twins still with this build, and now he's also being used in Sand Devil's Necropolis. So just to move myself out of the way, you can see he has 585 accuracy. It's a little bit overboard, so you don't need that much accuracy. You only need 505 to 515 accuracy, and I could re-gear him, but I just don't have the resources, right? Plus we got this awesome fusion going on, so I just can't rebuild him right now. And then Duchess Lilitu, a lot of people don't have her, so this is where people are going to be like, I'm not even going to watch this video, or I don't care because I don't have her. Could you use other champions in her place? Potentially, but Pythion's going to be helpful because of his passive as well, where allies receive less damage from each buff on them. But the thing is, you need Pythion and you need Duchess to revive, because if you don't have your champions reviving, then you're just not going to win. I needed 2 revivers for us to survive, because we had to keep on reviving Geomancer and hope that when the boss is asleep, he's placing the Quicksand Grasp. And a lot of times it looks a little dicey. So Duchess is there. She's going to start off with the Abyssal Invocation, and I make sure the priority is to revive over the Shroud, because Pythion's going to help cleanse the accuracy, decrease accuracy debuff, and then he's going to place the Shed Skin, so block debuffs. Duchess is also going to help place block debuffs as well with Perfect Veil, which is great because it reduces damage. And the reason why Duchess is also good is because decreases the damage taken by all allies from AoE attacks by 25% and 15% from bosses. So it's very strong against Sand Devil's Necropolis. Now, personally, I would put Duchess in a Stalwart set and Defiant set, or Stalwart and Immortal set. So you get the high HP, high defense like I have here, high speeds. She doesn't have the resistance at all or accuracy necessary for this boss. Resistance would be more beneficial for the boss, but having high accuracy with a low awakening. So like, she's built for arena for me in every other area of the game. She's not built specifically for Sand Devil's Necropolis. But again, if I had Brimstone on her, she would have to be built with high accuracy, because you need a 6-star awakening for Brimstone in order for you to not require accuracy. So because she's only 2-star, no point in putting Brimstone on her. Eventually I'm going to need to switch her out of the Polymorph anyways, so I need to switch her out soon, because Polymorph's not going to work with 2-star. But yeah, so that's the team, and again, it's not 100%. I was able to beat stage 16 a couple of times. I was able to beat stage 17 on the first try, but it's a long run, and nobody really wants a long run. The focus and the goal is just to get past these stages, get to stage 24, 23, 24, 25, and farm those stages. That's what this video is about. Could you use another champion other than Duchess? Possibly. If you have double Pythion, do double Pythion. If you have another, because double Pythion, he has the good heals, and when he uses his ability here, he also heals and places the block debuffs. So having double Pythion would actually be super beneficial. Plus he places the buffs, which allows you to, gain the additional decrease in damage from his passive up to 25%. So that's going to be helpful. Personally, I just like Duchess because that's what I have, and I got lucky on my free-to-play account and pulled her. Anyways, let's go into this one, see if we win. Possible we don't, but let's see what happens. But like I said, I have the setup done. I'll go over the setup again afterwards. I don't really think I went over that fully, but you probably saw every single champion as I was going through. So we placed the ability there. The other thing about having Geomancer is, for some reason, when Geomancer places this ability, the Quicksand Grasp, the boss doesn't seem to use the Dune Tempest ability, which the boss basically removes all of the debuffs. Yeah, so he removes all the debuffs and heals himself. But for some reason, because Geomancer's in the team, he doesn't use that ability. And as you can see, it's looking like Geomancer has already used the ability off cycle, so it's out of tune again. And that's why you have to have someone to sleep the boss constantly, so Geomancer can get back to his ability and place the weaken and the HP burn. So yeah, it's out of tune. So you can see it's going to take a little bit until we get back in tune, and this could be a longer run. My fastest run is 2 minutes and 40 seconds. But, I mean, this is usually like 5 minutes. So it's not the best team. It's really not. The Revive on Death is great because then we don't have to utilize our Duchess Revive or our Python Revive until we absolutely need to use it. But again, so like there's the revive from her. And now we've got to get back around to sleeping the boss. Let's hope that we can do that. Can we get a sleep here? There we go. So slept the boss, and now we're hoping that we can get back to Geomancer's ability. Does he have it? There it is. It's off cooldown. And now we're going to wake up the boss. The boss is going to start doing more damage to us. Let's see what happens. Boom. Okay, so we're doing damage slowly but surely. But again, I think this is going to be like a 4 to 6 minute run. It could be faster, but again, the tune has to be perfect, and I don't have the resources to keep re-gearing champions like this and make them specialized just for Sand Devil's Necropolis. It's extremely challenging and extremely difficult to do. So there you go, we did it again. We put the Sand Quick Grasp, or whatever the heck that ability is called. And yeah, so the boss is just going to keep hitting us with the A1. He's going to keep doing damage to himself, take a little bit of burn damage. And it's not terrible. It's definitely really slow though, I will say. But this is what I could build. This is what I came up with. It's not the best, but it gets the job done. And I think, in all honesty, I don't know if Duchess is replaceable. I don't know, because I haven't had the time to change her out for another champion and then change that champion's gear to make sense. But I have tried a bunch of different champions. I've tried Mithrala, who could work, but the revivers were necessary for me. It's looking like this is going to be a win. He's almost dead. We're looking at around a 4 minute to 5 minute run here. See what happens. Put him back to sleep before he used that big ability and kills us. That wouldn't have been good. Woke him back up. Okay. Let's see what happens. Boom. Okay. Revive again. There's the strangle, but he resisted because we had the decreased accuracy, right? And luckily, everybody survived that big hit because we put the revive on death. That's where we would have died. That is where this run is not 100%. Because if the boss is able to do that big hit, we just die flat out without the revive on death. So the revive on death is so important. And then we have to get the cleanse from Python so we can put the strangle ability out there and put him back to sleep. So this is where it's a little bit dicey here at the end, because the strangle ability is not off cooldown at the right time sometimes. There it is. But now we need to make sure that Geomancer has his ability back. Is it back? There it is. Okay, so now we can kill him. Now the boss is going to kill himself in the end here. I hope. One more hit. All right, one more hit and then we should be good. But this is looking like a win. Again, it's 5 minutes in length. It's a long battle, like I said. Also, I wouldn't recommend putting War Master on your champion. But yeah, there you go. It's a 4 minute 43 second run there. We got the win on the first try. But again, it's not 100%. I can tell you right now, because of the fact that 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 boss is going to hit really hard at some points. Now, I could showcase 17. It's such a long run though. I don't even think I'm going to go ahead and showcase it at this time, but it's the same team that I used here that beat it. It's just a long run, and I don't know what the success rate is. I've only done it once. It won with the same team that I utilized, but I'd probably just personally do 16 with this team mostly. But yeah, there you go. I'm not going to run stage 17 right now. If you guys want me to run stage 17, I'll do it on a different video, but this video is already pretty long as it is. Oh, one last thing I'll do is I'll showcase to you the setup again. And the setup's the same for both stages. Prioritize, Soul Shepherd. Turn off Uncanny. Strangle priority. A1, start, and then let him do his thing. Geomancer, A3, then A2, priority. Duchess, A3, revive priority. Starts off with A1, and that's it. Now, I will say as well, I think all the champions are fully booked, or at least you have to fully book specific skills. So if I go here, we'll do recently used. So Duchess is in a double stone skin, which honestly, I don't recommend putting her in a double stone skin. I do recommend putting her in Stalwart and Immortal, or Stalwart and Defiant. But yeah, so her abilities that need to be booked, A2 and A3. Pythion, he has to have A2 and A3 booked fully. Mother Sibel has to have A2 fully booked. Geomancer has to have the A3 fully booked. And Muckstalker needs to have the A2 fully booked. Doesn't need to have this fully booked. Another champion I tried building out was Crimson Helm. I wasted a lot of gear, a lot of time and effort. Not gear that I wasted, but silver that I wasted. And she worked on stage 16 as well, but the team was not nearly as consistent. And I tried to put her in double immortal, but I couldn't do it. Couldn't get stats that I needed. Yeah, so she didn't work as well as I wanted her to. Could you use Arbiter? Yes, but then you're taking out your arena champion, and I don't want to do that for me. It's my arena Arbiter, so I don't want to put her in Stalwart and stuff like that, change her gear all around. Not unless I pulled another Arbiter. Now I do have 2 Duchess, and I could consider building my second Duchess to be specifically tailor-made for Sand Devils, but I also use that Duchess in Live Arena and in regular arena because she has a bolster set. So I just don't know if I want to do that. But that's my team. That's what I use for now. I'm trying to figure out other ways to beat stage 16 and 17 that are more viable for people who just don't have Duchess and don't have other champions that I'm using. It's just very, very challenging. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Consider sharing the video. Leave a like if you did like the video. And apologies, I did have to use Duchess, but I mean, that's all I could think of right now. Thank you so much. Take care.